certain opinions and conclusions that you would make just by looking at me, and I would state some obvious ones. I am black, I am a female, and I am African. Right. Science has proven that it takes about 7 to 10 seconds for a person to make a conclusion or judgment about a total stranger. And you could have made those conclusions just by staring at me. And so now I'm going to go into some stereotypes about where I'm from. We're loud, we love to throw parties, we're intelligent, we're energetic, we're very high in the entertainment, especially the music industry. From what I just mentioned, you would tend to believe that I am a Nigerian, which is right. But does that mean that every Nigerian you meet actually meets all the stereotypes? Or does that mean that when you meet me, I qualify for all these stereotypes? No. And so I'm moving into culture. What is culture? A lot of things come into mind when you think about culture. A lot of definitions come into mind when you think about culture. But the thing is, every definition you think of is actually right. Culture can be your ethnicity, your people, where you're from, your background. Culture can be your everyday life, the things that you do, how you live your life. Culture can be the people around you, it can be your environment, it can be where you've always lived. That is culture. Culture defines you, culture describes you, culture defines a lot of who you are. But culture is not just about the outward, it is also about the inward. Culture is not just about what the labels and people and your environment and the world and your ethnicity and your religion or whatever else has to say about you. It is also who you are on the inside. Because remember that culture defines you. So if you're lacking on what you have to say on the inside, but you're only focusing on what everything else is saying, you have not really found yourself. I'm going to go a little bit into my story. I grew up in Nigeria. I'm from Osun State, Nigeria, which is located on the southwestern part of Nigeria, but I grew up mostly within Lagos and Ogun states, which are also on the southwest of Nigeria, but at the more industrialized locations. And I remember for a lot of years, I always had to deal with self-identity issues and listening to what people had to say about me. I was the kind of person who would be walking on the street and a random person would be calling out to me, Blackie. So a typical Nigerian would know what that slang means. And I heard it everywhere. Wherever I went, it was always there. I always heard it. Everybody always had something to say. I was too dark, too slender, too thin. My voice was too tiny. People would say that I sounded like a rat. And it was always the negative things. It was when I looked in my mirror, that was what I saw. And that was what I heard for a lot of years. When I got into my teens, it shifted. I started to hear more positives. I mean, strangers saying black and shine, teachers at school calling me Ebony. My friends were talking about a lot of things. Everybody talked about how good my voice was for singing. And so I got confused and I was looking at how all those years I had to deal with the negatives and shifting into the positives. I was wondering why people could not stick with one definition. Why was everybody saying different things? And I realized people were not the problem. I was the problem. Or I was the one who didn't have something to say. I was always taking into consideration what they were saying and defining myself as that. People thought that I was shy, and so I concluded that I was shy. It did not matter if I thought I was shy or me being an introvert automatically means that I'm shy, because it's not the same thing. And so that was when I realized that I actually had to give myself a label by myself, because when you let people define you, people are going to say a lot of things. Some people would say negative, some people would say positive, and some people just won't care. But what are you doing with what people noticed about you? And I decided to define myself by myself, to get out of the sea of identities that everybody was saying, and to actually give myself a label. And I feel like, just like I asked at the beginning, how many seconds does it take for you to make a judgment about somebody that you just meet? And sometimes it's not about the big things. It's not just about the placards and fighting racism or fighting inequality, or free Palestine and things like that. Because what do you even know about the people that you're fighting for? When you know so little about people and you're just carrying a judgment and you're just carrying an idea or a label that the world has put, you really do not know anything. And so you need to find out who you are first, and then you need to know something about other people without placing judgment. And so always remember that culture is not just the label. It's not just the outside. It's not just the outlook. It's not just the environment. It's also you. It's also your story. It's also your background. It's really what defines you and who you are. Thank you. I am Black. I am Nigerian. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a writer. I am a reader. And I am a Christian. Also an impact maker. My name is Sharon Oyebode.
In the heart of the savannah, where the wild winds blow, there's an